Peace and light, African people. It is the Goddess Neith, and I'm so excited to be here this evening. We are going to be talking about Black Panther. Please beware, I will be dropping spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, unplug right now. We are going to talk about going from Wakanda to Bennu. It is the Blackest truth. If you've never heard of me, go ahead and subscribe right now on YouTube and like the Facebook page. I will be dropping it down below. Be also sure to like the bell so you can get notifications on the video. As always, this video is brought to you by CarMarshal.com and the Bennu Project. I appreciate you two kings for supporting me the way you do. Let's get straight into it. So, Wakanda. First thing is, I loved the movie. I love the cinematography. I love the visuals. I had the privilege of seeing it in 3D. So it just really, popped out. It really made me feel like I was in the production. And I really just enjoyed the cast, the costumes, everything about the movie. Like, y'all remember when they were on the waterfalls and like they were like doing like the fist and like chanting? I was just like, oh my gosh, it's just too much. It was way too much. I also appreciate kind of like the momentum it generated. So many Black people were excited to see it. So many Black people were excited to wear their traditional clothes, to go in groups. I know I was invited in 2 different groups to go with people as a group together and really fellowship and have dinner afterwards. I know that there were after parties. People went all out with costumes. Morriet and Tesa showed out with the Ankara skirt and the Ankara headpiece. I'll be showing y'all a picture of that. And I think the last thing, for me, y'all know I'm from the States. I'm from the United States. So I think for African Americans, seeing Africa in that way, I can't really speak for other countries in this regard, but I think it was extremely important. It showed the possibilities of not being touched by colonialism. Had we in Africa been able to do and accomplish the things that we should have and really put ourselves to the test, what could have happened? And I think also, if you grew up in the West, I know my very first time ever seeing Africa was when I was 18 years old, when I had made it to college. So if you've ever grown up in the West, or if you've ever watched the TV, a lot of what you see about Africa is a total lie. So I think that the movie was a great visual to those that have never seen anything about Africa, never really felt enriched by the African culture. I really appreciated those things. The second thing that I appreciated was the cast. The cast, Lupita Nyong'o, as being played as Nakia and T'Challa. It wasn't the typical colorism. Y'all know I mentioned this a lot with the Martins and the Ginas and the Gina being the lighter complected, Martin being, brown. When you look at Whitley, when you look at a lot of the mainstream movies, it's always more typically a lighter complected woman with a chocolate complected man or a darker complected man. This movie, it was none of that. Lupita Nyong'o was doing her thing. Natural hair with no European extensions. I don't know if I saw European extensions anywhere. I think everyone was wearing their natural hair. Even Killmonger had dreadlocks. That was something that I could appreciate. Lupita Nyong'o, T'Challa, they were an excellent depiction of Black love. Even Okoye and Wakabi, that was, Get Out. I know that's probably what y'all gonna know him as. They were a great couple. And get this, y'all. The Queen had to pull a Harriet Tubman. If you do not call off your men, I'm going to kill you right here. And he said, you will kill me? And she said, I will kill you for Wakanda. And it was just like, oh, I'm so dramatic. I'm in the movie theater like, uh-oh. The people beside me probably annoyed. If y'all watching this, I'm sorry. Not sorry. And then I say it made me very, very emotional to see the world of Wakanda. I cried maybe like the first 10 minutes of the movie. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I cried. I thought to myself, I probably should have got some napkins because it was so beautiful. And I thought, man, this would be so beautiful if we really just stopped bickering and stopped, being disunified and understood that we were all African people. What could be the possibilities if we really, made people charge people for our resources, not had all of these countries still colonizing our land, still having us working for them. If we really did what it took to get into a place of power, that's why I just had tears streaming from my face. And in the title, y'all see the Bennu Project. This made me think of the Bennu Project, so I'll mention that. This is the part of the video I had to mention what I didn't like. 3 things that I didn't really like. First is I didn't appreciate how Killmonger was depicted as the villain, or you know, his character had good and bad with him, but the bad kind of outweighed the good, so you felt more at ease by feeling as if he wasn't somebody to agree with. You felt more at ease agreeing with T'Challa. However, Killmonger, looking at his past, looking at his upbringing, you definitely kind of understand where his resentment or his heartbreak would come from. You would understand the trauma. I could appreciate the fact that Killmonger got the job done of getting Claw. Remember that T'Challa was sent to do that. He, instead of getting Claw and instead of taking him back to Wakanda, he allowed the detective to do the investigations. That set them all off. You know, I can appreciate the compassion, but at the end of the day, in a revolution, y'all, you got to get the job done. And Killmonger got the job done. Now, but you see his character is also paired with this kind of like egotism that really doesn't allow you to appreciate everything that he wants to do for his people. You understand how he wants to equip the black people with the vibranium in order to overcome their oppressor, and that's another thing that I'll talk about. But you kind of don't agree with the means that he does it. Burning the heart-shaped garden, you know, choking that black elderly queen. We don't do that. We don't put our hands on our elders like that. So, and I also don't appreciate the fact that his name was Killmonger, but we don't own Marvel. The media team, this entire thing, we already got the black cast. We already got the traditional outfits. We already knew we wasn't going to get everything we wanted. So I can appreciate it holistically. The second thing that I'll say is it still kind of endured a little bit. It still kind of tinkered on tribalism. Think about the tribalism aspect of it, where they were still fighting one another at the end of the day. You still had black on black crime or black on black violence, and that was kind of to be expected in a film where you only literally had 2 major European actors, and one of them got, you know, minimal play, and the other kind of only had spurts and moments in between the movie. But that was kind of something to be expected. However, I thought about Dr. Chancellor Williams' book, The Destruction of Black Civilization, where he talks about we were always bickering with one another. So it was easy to be conquered by Asia and Europe. It was easy to be conquered and dominated because we were bickering with one another. So I thought that perhaps that'll be the new spin of white supremacy. Rather than only showing you black on black crime, it'll also place it to where it seems like it's the right thing to do, to be fighting your own self. That's how white supremacy always works. So think about it. If we're not going to be able to have any white heroes in a movie, we're at least going to have you fighting yourself in the movie. So some little tidbits that I thought were really cool. Think about what was the king, M'Baku, when the European went to talk and everybody went making the noise like whoo, whoo. I don't want to do it obviously because I'm not an animal, I'm a goddess. I thought that was really cool, and he was like, you can't speak, and I was like, that officially has been checked into play. We're going to start implementing that. Again, I don't necessarily know that I want to do the dog noise. Again, that's how white supremacy works. It's like, rather than just being quiet and ignoring the dude and acting like he didn't speak, we're going to bark like dogs or sound like apes. So it's just kind of like, I don't really appreciate that part, but I do agree with the sentiment. So I'll go along with it just in case, just for sentiment's sake as well. The last thing that I'll say is something that is kind of like sensitive within Western movies. Western being considered European side, is you'll typically see villains be spared in Western movies. And what I mean is, when I say that, it's Killmonger always made these references in the movie saying, you know, I'm like my ancestors, where I'd rather jump off the boat than live in bondage. You know, they're like these third person sayings, or there's these third person sentences, rather than saying who enslaved your ancestors, why your ancestors jumped off the boat, rather than saying because these Europeans that y'all want to give these resources to killed our ancestors, they jumped off the boat. He just omits who is responsible for the reason people jumped off the boat, and then just talks about that. That's something that you often see in European movies. You also see that you won't be able to visually see one of the individuals killed. Like, think about in that episode of Power when Ghost and Charlie Murphy had got into that fight in the gym, where Ghost had got that plank and he literally crushed this dude's skull in, and you saw the blood and it was gory and all of that, and it was so visual on national TV. Versus in movies, Europeans don't give you an opportunity to see them die like that, especially at the hands of someone who's black. The scene will go black, and then you'll obviously know that the person is dead by like a black body bag or something along those lines. So feelings will always be spared along those lines, but then when it comes to the opposite, it won't be. So I thought that Killmonger, in all honesty, was not as bad as his character was portrayed. I felt like him wanting to equip his people with vibranium and definitely give them an opportunity to serve as a defense was cool. But I feel like there's obviously so many things we could talk about, like training, understanding who's your proper enemy. If you equipped everybody with vibranium and then equipped everybody to understand who was their enemy, they would be using the vibranium on one another like we're doing right now. So that's what I mean when I say the way they packaged Killmonger together. He had a little bit of good, a little bit of bad, but the bad outweighed the good. So you immediately just said, okay, T'Challa, you obviously didn't win that fight, but I'll go with you, T'Challa. I'll ride with you in the kill. Y'all got the black love going. Y'all tight, you know. So that is that. I also want to get into this book, the Bennu Project, y'all. This right here is what this has made me think of. If you're interested in hearing the review, go to the Patreon account where the book review will be featured. The Bennu Project by Tyrone Givens. This is a lot like Black Panther. If you enjoy Black Panther, this book is finna be a breeze. This book right here, your son, your daughter, your niece, your nephew, everyone needs this book. It is so great. So tune in to the next video. Peace, y'all.